Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit here back again with Hunter x Hunter. We're on episode 47. And real quick, if it looks like I'm a bit under the weather, it's because I have just come off a food poisoning illness. I was hospitalised for a couple of days. And this is really for the patrons, the early access patrons. By the time this goes out on YouTube, I'll be way past it. But yeah, the early access patrons had to wait a good week and a bit in between the Hunter x Hunter videos. So it's just an apology to those guys, because I did try my best to upload the videos as soon as I could. It's kind of like a sort of like a catch-22 where I'm kind of like in a bad situation on both ends, because if I do upload, then I won't have my full attention span like on the video, because I will be ill, and I'll end up missing things and stuff like that. So it's one of those things where, is it worth risking doing reactions to things when I'm not at my best? But then on the other side, it's like, well, people who are paying money and they're not getting what is promised every week. So yeah, apologies to you guys. I hope you can forgive me. I don't know what it was that I got food poisoning off. I think it was something that I ate out, because everything that I ate at home was stuff that you wouldn't really get food poisoning off, unless it's some a manufacturing error or whatever. But I don't know. But yeah, I hope you can forgive me, guys. And yeah, that's that. But yeah, so back to Hunter x Hunter. So where we left off was on quite a cliffhanger, because we're about to have the Kurapika and Uvo fight. And I mean, I don't really have to go into what happened last episode. It was pretty straightforward. It was just Uvo finding Kurapika, and Kurapika intentionally luring Uvo to where he was. And I'm quite nervous because I don't know how. I mean, I know Kurapika's got these chain things, but he caught Uvo off guard the first time. If Uvo knows that it's coming, I don't know. And I'm not really sure that Uvo really went all out against those shadow beasts. So I don't know how this is going to go. He's not going to have that partnership with Hisoka in a battle. You know what I mean? It's just exchanging information and stuff. So I don't know. I guess someone could possibly come help him if, like, I don't know, if Gon and Killua and Leorio see, like, I don't know, big explosions going off. I don't know, that might lure them towards there and they can help out. But I really don't know. And I don't have anything else to say. I think we're just going to get into it and see what this fight is all about. So yeah, without further ado, let's go. Okay. Fuck. I mean, I said at the beginning of the episode, I didn't think, like, just judging by what we'd seen Kurapika do before, like, Kurapika was good, but I never thought in a million years he was that good. There was some revelations here that, like, especially he becomes a specialist with the use of his scarlet eyes, that's crazy. So is that something that's akin to all of the Kurta clan then? Like, anyone with scarlet eyes would, like, when in use of them, becomes a specialist? I've got to assume that's the case. Because it's essentially heightened everything, right? And I imagine if the use of the scarlet eyes heightens everything, then it is not just a physical thing, but also their nen as well. So I'd have to assume that everyone that would have scarlet eyes, even though as far as we know, Kurapika being the only one. But for instance, all of the other Kurta clan members would be the same. Damn. It was interesting, the guy who was teaching Kurapika, when, I mean, well, I said during the reaction, I thought it was interesting that, Kurapika had heightened his emotions when he made the condition that I would risk my life on it. And I was like, that's interesting. Like, if maybe he wasn't as calm as maybe he should have been while making that decision, but that wasn't the point, and it didn't really matter in the end because he has multiple chains. It's not just one, which is great. By using in, which is it's basically the concealment. It's concealment, right? In, so basically concealing the presence of not just yourself but also like objects as well that you're connected to, which is great. So yeah, I thought it was interesting, the guy that was teaching Kurapika, like Nen and all of that he was like, let's do the water divination thing again to test your what class you are. I'm interested to see like what like what happens to the leaf or the water for a specialist, you know. Because with like enhancers and stuff, it overflows, doesn't it? So it would just be interesting to see like what specialist would do. And I've been wondering for the longest fucking time what specialist was, and it actually annoys us that I didn't even think like it allows you to have use of every single one of them. Shit, that's so crazy. I like how they've limited it though. Obviously, by when Kurapika's like in use of his Scarlet Eyes, that's the only time he can use specialists, right? Which means he has access to every single one of them. But as we've seen before, when he uses it, it takes like a while for him to calm down, and he's erratic, and he can get worn out quicker with by using like those Scarlet Eyes and whatnot. So already like they've put a limit on it so that he can't just use it all the time, because yeah, that would be that would be insanely OP. It's just crazy. Like I didn't think Kurapika was like I didn't think Kurapika like one-on-one with Uvo like would have been like a match for him. Never mind like completely domination. Like he was only really caught off guard once, and that was when Uvo brought up the fucking smoke screen, and because obviously Kurapika didn't know that he could use in and conceal himself. But then at the end of the day, it didn't matter because he could just heal himself anyway. It's fucking nuts. And they've said before in this show about like keeping. It's a good idea to keep your. I think what was it? Hisoka and Gon, when they were having their fight, Hisoka was like, it's best to keep your class secret. You know what I mean? What you are secret. And it makes all the sense in the world with this fight, with where Kurapika was intentionally, he uses the idea of the chains that you can always see as a way to fool the other person into thinking he must be a manipulator, when in reality he's actually a conjurer. And he keeps the other one completely hidden within it the whole time. Like I mean, it makes sense for Kurapika because he is smart, but like to delegate different parts of your brain and your focus on keeping one concealed the whole time and trying to do everything else, like Kurapika dodging around, you know what I mean, getting hits off on him, and you know what I mean, but he had him it's just crazy. Oh man, I mean, Kurapika has like I mean, Kurapika's like he's my favourite now. I don't want to take that like title away from Killua because I love Killua, but I mean, it's all subject to change. But how can I not put Kurapika at the top of my list after that? It's completely just that's nuts. So yeah, we've got some another bit of information with the Kurta clan, where they're from is the Luxor province, which I don't know if that'll ever come into, I mean, maybe at some point, maybe they'll go back there. It might be interesting, just depending on like where it's situated. Maybe he goes back. But yeah, I love the little detail of Uvo pissing out the leech eggs because he didn't really have to. Like, it's one of those things that I've said before. Like, for instance, like in Haikyuu is the same, where they put in little details that they don't have to put in, but they do it anyway. You know what I mean? It's just that little extra bit of effort, which I like. So yeah, that was cool. The teacher for Kurapika basically saying that it was impossible. It literally is impossible to create unbreakable chains. Now I was like thinking, all right, so there's something with that in that like, even if the condition is that you die if you use it for any other purpose, it's still not a big enough condition to create unbreakable chains. But when Uvo was tied up, and he had that whole thing where Kurapika was using Zetsu to nullify Uvo's aura, so basically the only way he could break out was due to physical strength, and so I'd have to assume that they are breakable, but they're breakable entirely on the basis that you can like literally break through them with your physical strength, right? And if Uvo can't do it, then I don't know if there's anyone in this world who can. So when the teacher is basically saying like it's impossible to create unbreakable chains, but you can get pretty close. Kurapika has found like the option to make it as close as humanly fucking possible to make them unbreakable, which is great. Love it. Interesting as well is the addition of where he's talking about how Nen is essentially a way to add power, so it's additive, whereas conditions are used to multiply. So yeah, that's crazy. I don't know if you could really put a numerical value, which it's interesting that they used like math. I mean, I guess they're not really using math. I guess it's just the terminology of adding and multiplying in it. Because I was going to say, like, I don't think you could really put a numerical value on a condition, but if you are using numerical value, if you could, for instance, I imagine the idea is it would be with the condition of death, that it would be higher. You know what I mean? But it's also interesting that it's also in conjunction with the what the fuck's the word? The condition that comes before it, right? So obviously it's a condition and a condition. That's obviously what the fucking title was, which makes sense now. It's like the condition that you set, and then the condition and the rule of what sort of balances it out. And if the favor of if you break the rule, if that is completely not in your favor, then it would multiply it like at a higher numerical value, if you get what I mean. Because obviously I don't know if there is a rule that you can set that could be worse than death. You know what I mean? Which is why I think that, why I said before, Kurapika has figured out like the way to make it the closest to unbreakable chains, because putting that up there, the condition on killing yourself if you break the rule, would be the highest possible thing that you could ever do. Unless there's something else where you could just be like, I will be tortured in hell forever if I break this rule. Maybe that might be bigger, but I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know like to what reality the conditioning thing works. You know what I mean? Or in this world, how things work. I don't know. But it's definitely it's interesting though. I like it. I like the idea that it's multiplied, and also the fact that this is the first we've ever seen of it. Which I'd be very surprised if this is something that doesn't crop up again. This has to. I'd imagine it would have to. And also I would be shocked to find out that like somebody who does have a condition actually breaks it, and then we see that full hand, first hand. Although I guess we've already seen it with Uvo by obviously. I think it's great how like Kurapika is able to attach his chain. I don't know it's not the Emperor Time though one, is it? No, I don't think it's that one. But able to attach around the heart of somebody else and then make a condition for them. You can literally force a condition on someone, which is that's nuts. That is crazy, man. That was crazy. Yeah, so we did see that with Uvo, really. You know, I mean, he gave him the... I was sitting there thinking, like, well, you know, he's sitting there basically saying, kill me. If you give him the option to kill himself, he's going to take it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I mean, that was nuts. I mean, I always felt like, you know, he was never going to say anything. Especially him, like, out of everyone in there, he wouldn't have said anything because he's the one with, like, the, you know, he's got the proud thing going on. He's like, it's all about pride, so, yeah, he would have never done that. But, yeah. I was saying at the beginning as well is that I was interested, like, when Uvo was like, who? I've never heard of them. Like, the Kurta clan, right? I was wondering if he was actually being serious and, like, he was never there. And then that was going to be a thing. But then it turned out, no, he was, you know what I mean? He is just a bit of a dick. So, yeah, that's that. And, yeah, last thing I wrote down was, Kurapika just completely outdid him. That did not go the way that I expected it to go. So that is crazy. But yeah, that's all I've got. That's all I've got. Incredible episode. Awesome. And yeah, that's it. So thank you everyone for watching. In the description below, I've linked certain things. One of them is the Discord. If you want any information regarding my content, you can get yourself over there. And I also have a Patreon as well. So if you do want to support me on Patreon, it'd be very much appreciated. There is a bunch of tiers and rewards, depending on, you know, how much you want to support me with. So there's things like early access, which gives you access to shows a week early. It's $5 a month. And you also get 4 episodes of Hunter x Hunter every week. So you will be way ahead. You know, by the time this comes out on YouTube, if you go over there and get, you know, £5 a month, you'll probably have access to a good, like, 40, 50 episodes, you know, that hasn't even been released on YouTube yet. So yeah, that's that. And there's also full length there, but you know the score with the full length. You know, as of right now, the actual episodes themselves that I'm releasing are full length anyway. That will go back to, you know, to normal eventually, but we'll have to wait and see until then. And then there's other things on there where you can pay to get shows watched and reacted to and things like that. So go have a look. But yeah, that is all I've got. So thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.